Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel English Achieve. Today's video is not just another motivational talk. It's a practical plan that can truly transform your English learning journey. And the best part is, it only takes 20 minutes a day. Think about it. 20 minutes is less time than it takes to watch one episode of your favorite show. Less time than most of us spend scrolling through social media. But if you use those minutes wisely, they can completely change the way you speak, understand, and think in English. Many people believe they need hours of study, thick grammar books, and long practice sessions to become fluent, but that's not true. It's not about how much time you study in one day. It's about how often you practice and how you use the time you have. In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to turn 20 minutes a day into a powerful tool for fluency. This is a method that has worked for thousands of learners, and by the end, you'll understand that English is not just something you study. It's something you can live every single day. So, let's get started. Chapter 1. Why 20 minutes is enough. Many learners believe that 20 minutes is far too short to make real progress in English. They think, how can I improve in such a short time? Don't I need hours of study every day? This is a very common misunderstanding. People often imagine that fluency is built through long, exhausting sessions with heavy books and endless exercises. But here's the truth. 20 minutes, used in the right way, can be enough to completely change your English over time. Think about it like exercise. If you go to the gym and work out for 5 hours in one day, you will feel tired, and maybe even sore, but you won't suddenly become fit. In fact, you might be so tired that you won't want to go back for another week. On the other hand, if you walk for 20 minutes every single day, your body will slowly but surely become stronger. Your breathing will improve, your energy will increase, and your health will get better without you even noticing the effort. The small amount of time, repeated consistently, creates a powerful result. Learning English is exactly the same. Your brain is like a muscle. And when you practice a little every day, you are training it to think in English more quickly and more naturally. Even if you only learn a few new words or practice a few short sentences, you are building connections inside your brain. These connections become stronger each time you return to your practice. Over time, these small moments add up to something big. The real secret is consistency. If you study for 2 hours on Monday and then take a long break for the rest of the week, your brain will start to forget what you learned. But if you give your brain just 20 minutes a day, every day, the language stays fresh in your mind. It's like watering a plant. If you water it a little each day, it will grow strong and healthy. But if you give it a huge amount of water once a week and then ignore it, the plant will struggle to survive. Another reason 20 minutes is enough is because it's realistic. You don't have to change your whole life or cancel your plans to study English for hours. 20 minutes can fit easily into almost anyone's day. You can find 20 minutes on the bus while going to work, during your lunch break, while cooking dinner, or even right before bed. Because it's such a small amount of time, you're less likely to skip it. And once you start, you'll often find yourself wanting to do a little more because you're already in the flow. When you keep your daily goals small, it becomes easier to stick with it. That's why so many learners fail when they try to study for hours every day. They set a goal that feels too big. And when life gets busy, they stop completely. But with 20 minutes, there are no excuses. It's short enough that you can always find the time. but long enough to make a real difference over the weeks and months. Also, 20 minutes of focused practice is more powerful than hours of distracted study. If you truly use those minutes to listen carefully, speak out loud, or read with attention, your brain will absorb more than if you sit for an hour without focus. Quality matters more than quantity. When you know you only have 20 minutes, you're more likely to stay alert and make every second count. And here's something interesting. Once you make 20 minutes a habit, it doesn't feel like a big effort anymore. In fact, it can become one of the best parts of your day. You might look forward to those minutes with English, just like someone who enjoys their daily walk or cup of coffee. It becomes a moment of personal growth, a little gift you give yourself each day. I've seen learners who started with 20 minutes a day and, after a few months, found themselves naturally spending 30 or even 40 minutes without trying. Why? Because once you start seeing progress, you want more. Your confidence grows, your skills improve, and English stops feeling like study and starts feeling like a part of your life. So the next time you hear someone say that 20 minutes isn't enough, remember this. The power is not in the amount of time you spend in one day. The power is in the fact that you come back again tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. Day by day, those minutes stack up, just like small bricks building a strong wall. Before you know it, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. And it all started with just 20 minutes. Chapter 2. The Morning Advantage. If you can, try to use your 20 minutes of English practice in the morning. Why? Because mornings have a special kind of power. Your mind is fresh, your energy is higher, and the things you learn early in the day tend to stay with you longer. In the morning, before the chaos of the day begins, your brain is like a clean white page, ready to be written on. The sentences, words, and sounds you put into your mind at this time can remain in your thoughts throughout the day, quietly working in the background. Life is unpredictable. You may tell yourself, I will practice later in the evening. But often the evening arrives, and you're too tired, too busy, or too distracted. You might get home from work and want to rest. Your family or friends might need your attention. Or maybe something urgent will come up, and suddenly the day is over. That's why practicing first thing in the morning removes the risk of missing your learning time. You get it done before anything can stop you. Imagine this. You wake up, drink a glass of water to refresh yourself, and spend your first 20 minutes with English. You could listen to a short podcast, read a simple article, or practice speaking aloud. While most people are still waking up slowly, scrolling through their phones, or rushing around, you have already invested in yourself. You have already taken a step forward in your English journey. That single act changes the tone of your day. You walk into the world with a sense of achievement. The effect is more powerful than most people realize. If you start your morning by improving yourself, you carry that positive feeling with you. It's like carrying English in your mind as a soft background music that plays while you go about your day. You might find yourself remembering a word from the morning while you're at work. Or you might hear a phrase and realize you understand it because you practiced something similar earlier. The learning sticks because you gave it your best, most focused time. Even if during your morning practice you only learn 5 new words or finally understand 1 new grammar point, you have started your day with growth. That growth creates momentum, and momentum is what keeps you moving forward. Small wins at the start of the day make it easier to continue winning throughout the day. Some learners like to make this morning time even more enjoyable. For example, you could prepare a cup of coffee or tea and sit in your favorite spot with your English materials. Maybe you watch your favorite English YouTube channel, perhaps even this one, and take notes on new expressions you hear. Some people keep a small notebook where they write down useful sentences from their morning study. Later, they read those sentences again during the day to refresh their memory. Others use the morning for speaking practice. They might read a short paragraph out loud, or they might describe their plans for the day in English. Speaking in the morning is powerful because it wakes up your mouth muscles for English sounds and makes you more confident if you need to speak later in the day. The key is to make this time enjoyable and peaceful, so you look forward to it. If you treat your morning English practice like a chore, you'll resist it. But if you treat it as your time, a moment for personal growth, it becomes something you actually want to do. You might even find yourself waking up a little earlier just to enjoy this habit. And here's a bonus benefit. Practicing in the morning helps your subconscious mind. When you learn something early in the day, your brain continues to process it quietly while you do other things. Without even trying, you might find connections between the new word you learned and something you hear later. It's like planting a seed in the morning and letting the sun and rain of the day help it grow. Of course, not everyone can practice in the morning, and that's okay. But if your schedule allows, even a few days a week, try it. You may notice that your energy, focus, and motivation stay higher all day long. And when that happens, learning English becomes more than a habit. It becomes a part of your life that gives you strength before you've even had breakfast. Chapter 3. The Power of Focused Practice. If you only have 20 minutes a day to work on your English, you must use it wisely. The biggest mistake many learners make is trying to do everything at once, listening, speaking, reading, and writing, all in the same short time. When you divide your attention like this, you end up improving slowly in every area, instead of making strong progress in one. That's why the secret to real improvement is focused practice, working on one skill at a time with full attention. Think of your learning as a garden. You have several plants, listening, speaking, reading, and writing, and you need to water them regularly. If you try to water all of them a little every single day, the water might not be enough for any of them to grow strong. But if you water one plant deeply today and another tomorrow, and keep rotating, each one will grow healthy and strong over time. This is how focused practice works. A simple way to do this is to choose one main skill each day and rotate through them during the week. For example, you might spend Monday on listening, Tuesday on speaking, Wednesday on reading, and Thursday on writing. Then repeat the cycle. This method keeps your mind fresh and ensures that you are developing all parts of your English in a balanced way. Let's break down how each skill day might look. Listening day. Listening day is about training your ears to catch the sounds, rhythm, and meaning of English. You could listen to a short story, a short podcast, or even just part of a movie or TV show. Don't worry if you don't understand every word. Focus on the main ideas first. Over time, your brain will start to pick up more and more detail. Try to listen actively, not passively. This means you're paying attention, repeating new words, and maybe even writing down phrases you like. Listening is the foundation of speaking. The more you hear natural English, the more easily you can produce it yourself. Speaking Day. Speaking Day is about using your voice. Too many learners only read and listen, but when it's time to speak, they freeze. This happens because speaking is a muscle skill. You must train your mouth and tongue to form English sounds quickly. On your speaking day, choose a topic. Anything from my favorite childhood memory to a country I want to visit. Talk about it for 5 minutes without stopping. If you can, record yourself. When you listen to the recording, you'll notice areas to improve. Maybe pronunciation, maybe grammar, maybe speed. Over time, you'll hear yourself getting better, and that's incredibly motivating. Reading Day. Reading Day is about expanding your vocabulary and understanding sentence structure. You could read a short news article, a blog post, or a few pages of a graded reader book. Don't stop too often for every new word. That will slow you down. Instead, focus on understanding the meaning from context. You can underline new words and check them later. Reading will not only give you new words, but also show you how they are used naturally. The more you read, the more patterns you will notice in grammar and word choice. And these patterns will naturally appear in your own speech and writing. Writing Day. Writing Day is your chance to put your thoughts into words on paper or on screen. You might write 5-10 sentences about your day, your dreams, your favorite hobby, or something you learned. Writing forces you to slow down and think carefully about your word choice and grammar. It also helps you remember vocabulary more strongly because you are using it actively. If possible, share your writing with someone who can give feedback or compare it to examples of native writing to see how you can improve. Rotating your skills like this has another benefit. It keeps your mind fresh. If you try to focus on only one skill for weeks, you might get bored or feel stuck. But when each day offers something different, you stay excited to learn. You know that tomorrow will bring a new type of challenge, so you don't feel trapped in a routine. The most important part of focused practice is being present in the moment. When it's listening day, you are 100% listening. You're not thinking about speaking or worrying about grammar. When it's speaking day, you are 100% speaking. You don't stop every 2 seconds to check a dictionary. This full concentration is what makes your practice powerful. 20 minutes of full focus can give you more progress than 2 hours of distracted study. Also, don't be afraid to adapt the plan to your own needs. If you feel that speaking is your weakest skill, you might include it twice a week. Or if you're preparing for a writing exam, you might give writing extra time for a while. The rotation is flexible. You can shape it to match your goals. One more tip. Keep a simple log of what you do each day. Write down, listened to a podcast about travel, or wrote 8 sentences about my weekend. This helps you see your progress and makes you proud of your consistency. After a month, you'll look back and see dozens of small learning moments that have built up into real improvement. Remember, focused practice works because it allows your brain to go deeper into one skill at a time. By doing this, you make stronger connections and learn faster. Over time, each skill you focus on will feed into the others. Listening improves speaking, reading improves writing, and speaking improves listening. All the pieces start to work together, and that's when your English begins to feel natural. So, the next time you sit down for your 20 minutes, resist the temptation to do a bit of everything. Instead, give your full attention to one skill. Think of it as training one muscle at a time. Soon, you'll notice that each muscle in your English ability is getting stronger, and when they all work together, you'll be amazed at what you can do. Chapter 4. Turn English into a habit, not a task. Here's a secret that most successful English learners know. They don't just study English every day. They live it every day. For them, English is not a box to check on a to-do list. It's not something they force themselves to do only because they should. It's something they enjoy. They see English as part of their lifestyle, something that naturally fits into their daily routine, just like eating breakfast or brushing their teeth. When you see English as homework, it feels heavy. You might say, "I have to study," and already your brain starts resisting. But when you see English as a fun part of your day, you don't need to fight with yourself to do it. You actually look forward to it. And the more you enjoy it, the more consistent you will be. So how do you make English feel this way in just 20 minutes a day? You do it by connecting English to the things you already love. If you enjoy cooking, spend your 20 minutes reading recipes in English or watching cooking videos by English-speaking chefs. You'll be learning new vocabulary, but it won't feel like a lesson. It will feel like following your passion. If you love sports, read sports news in English or watch short interviews with athletes. If you enjoy music, listen to songs in English, follow along with the lyrics, and try to understand the meaning. If you like technology, read tech blogs in English or watch gadget reviews. The key is to make your English time feel personal and exciting, so your brain is naturally curious and engaged. Another powerful way to turn English into a habit is to use it for real communication. Talk about things that matter to you, even if it's just to yourself at first. Describe your day, your plans, or your feelings in English. If you can, chat online with people who share your interests. Join an English-speaking group on social media, where the focus is on a topic you love, not just on studying English. This way, you'll be learning without even realizing it. When your new 20 minutes are filled with something you care about, your brain works harder without feeling stressed. You're not just memorizing words, you're connecting those words to emotions, interests, and real-life situations. That's why you remember them better and use them more naturally later. It's also important to make your practice time pleasant. Choose a comfortable place to study. Have your favorite drink nearby. Use tools you enjoy, whether it's a colorful notebook, helpful app, or a YouTube channel you love. The more positive you make the experience, the easier it is to repeat it every day. Some learners even create small rituals around their English practice. For example, they might light a candle, sit in a favorite chair, or play soft music while they read in English. These little details train your brain to associate English time with comfort and enjoyment, which makes the habit stronger. Remember, habits are powerful because they happen almost automatically. Once you've built the habit of doing something enjoyable in English every day, you won't have to push yourself. It will just happen. And because you actually like it, you won't want to skip it. This is why many people who become fluent don't feel like they are studying at all. They're simply living a part of their life in English. They watch the shows they like in English. They follow their favorite influencers in English. They read about their hobbies in English. Over time, this natural exposure adds up to huge progress. So stop thinking of English as something separate from your life. Instead, let it flow into the things you already do and love. When English becomes your habit instead of your task, it stops feeling like work. And that's when you truly start to grow. Chapter 5. The Magic of Speaking Aloud. Many English learners spend most of their time practicing listening and reading. They listen to podcasts, watch videos, or read books, and feel proud of their progress. But then, when they have a real chance to speak English, maybe with a friend, a teacher, or a stranger, they suddenly feel nervous or even frozen. Their mind goes blank and their mouth does not move. This is a very common problem, and it happens because speaking is a skill that needs special practice. Here is an important rule. During your 20 minutes of English practice every day, always include some time for speaking aloud. It doesn't matter if you are alone. In fact, speaking alone can be one of the best ways to build confidence and fluency. When you speak aloud, you train your brain and your mouth to work together to produce English naturally and easily. Speaking aloud is like exercising your English-speaking muscles. If you never move your muscles, they become weak and slow. But if you practice day after day, those muscles get stronger. Your tongue learns how to shape the sounds correctly, and your lips learn to move in the right way. Your brain becomes quicker at finding the right words and putting them together in sentences. One simple way to practice speaking aloud is to describe what you see around you. For example, if you are sitting in your room, say out loud, "I see a blue chair. The sun is shining outside. I am feeling happy today." This may feel strange at first, but it helps your mouth get used to English words and sentences. It also helps your brain think directly in English instead of translating from your native language. You can also tell a short story out loud. It could be something simple, like what you did yesterday or what you plan to do tomorrow. Don't worry about making mistakes. The goal is to get comfortable speaking and expressing your ideas. With time, your confidence will grow, and your sentences will become smoother and longer. Another powerful method is to repeat sentences from movies, shows, or podcasts. Listen carefully to how the speaker says the sentence, the rhythm, the stress, the tone, and then try to copy it exactly. This is called shadowing, and it works like magic to improve your pronunciation and speaking rhythm. Shadowing helps you sound more natural and fluent. You can combine speaking practice with listening practice. For example, choose a short sentence from a podcast or video. Listen to it 2 or 3 times until you understand it well. Then say the sentence aloud, trying to match the speaker's speed and intonation. Record yourself if you can, and listen back. You will notice how your pronunciation improves and where you need more practice. Speaking aloud also helps your brain get used to producing English quickly. When you practice only listening or reading, your brain becomes good at understanding English, but not as good at creating it. Speaking aloud trains your brain to think in English and react faster when you have to talk to someone. Many learners say that speaking aloud helped them overcome the fear of making mistakes. When you practice alone, it's a safe space. No one judges you. You can try new words and expressions, and if you forget something, you can try again immediately. This builds your confidence little by little. Also, speaking aloud improves your memory. When you say words and sentences out loud, your brain connects the sound, the meaning, and the physical act of speaking. This connection makes it easier to remember and use those words in real conversations later. You don't need to speak for a long time. Even 5 minutes of focused speaking practice each day will make a big difference over time. The important thing is to do it regularly and with intention. Try to speak clearly, slowly at first, and then gradually faster as you get comfortable. In short, speaking aloud is the magic key that opens the door to fluency. It is the practice that helps you go from understanding English to actually using it confidently in your daily life. So in your 20 minutes today, find a moment to speak aloud. Describe your day, tell a story, or repeat sentences you hear in English. Your future self will thank you. Chapter 6. Track your progress. Here's a valuable tip that many learners overlook. If you want to stay motivated and continue improving, it's important to track your progress. When you start learning a new language, it can sometimes feel like you are moving slowly or even standing still. Days go by, and you wonder if your hard work is really paying off. But when you keep a simple record of what you do each day, learning becomes clearer and more rewarding. Tracking your progress doesn't have to be complicated. All you need is a notebook, a journal, or even a simple app on your phone. Each day, after your 20-minute practice session, write down a short note about what you did. For example, you might write, "Listened to a podcast about travel," or "Read an article about health," or "Spoke aloud for 5 minutes about my weekend." The key is to be specific. Writing down exactly what you practiced helps your brain remember the experience more clearly. Why does this simple act help so much? First, it turns your learning into something real and visible. Instead of just thinking, "I studied English today," you have proof of your effort. When you look back after a few days or weeks, you see a list of activities, each one a small step forward. This feeling of accomplishment encourages you to keep going, especially on days when motivation is low. Second, tracking helps you find patterns in your learning. After 2 weeks or a month, review your notes. You might discover that you really enjoy listening to podcasts about sports, or that writing short stories makes you feel confident. You may also notice which skills need more attention. Perhaps you see fewer days where you practiced speaking aloud, and you realize you want to focus more on that. This kind of reflection is powerful because it turns your study time from random efforts into a clear path. You learn what works best for you and where to focus your energy. Instead of guessing what to do next, you plan your learning in a way that suits your interests and goals. Another benefit of tracking your progress is that it helps you celebrate small wins. Learning a language is a long journey, and it's easy to forget about the small improvements along the way. But when you write down your daily practice, you see these small wins clearly, like understanding a new word, finishing a short article, or speaking a sentence without hesitation. Celebrating these moments boosts your confidence and keeps your mind positive. Some learners like to add extra details in their progress notes, such as new words they learned, or mistakes they want to fix. This makes their tracking even more useful because it becomes a personalized study guide. When you review your notes, you not only see what you did, but also what you need to practice next. You can also use progress tracking to set weekly goals. For example, you might decide to spend more days practicing speaking aloud or to listen to a new English podcast every week. Then, when you look back at your notes, you can see if you met your goals. This sense of achievement strengthens your motivation and discipline. Remember, progress tracking is not about perfection. It's not a test or a competition. It's a friendly way to keep yourself honest and motivated. Everyone has good days and bad days. Sometimes you may skip a day, and that's okay. The important thing is to keep coming back and recording your efforts. When your learning feels real and measurable, it becomes easier to stay committed. You begin to trust yourself, knowing that each day, no matter how small, you are building your English skills step by step. This trust is one of the most important factors in long-term success. So, start today. Take a few minutes after your 20-minute practice and write down what you did. Make it a simple habit, just like your daily English practice. Over time, this habit will become your secret weapon, helping you stay motivated and on track to fluency. Chapter 7. Overcoming the "I'm too busy" excuse. We all have those days, the ones where we feel too busy, too tired, or simply too distracted to study English. Maybe you've said to yourself, "I don't have time today," or "I'll do it tomorrow." These thoughts are completely normal. Life is full of responsibilities. Work, family, errands, and unexpected events that take up our attention. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and think that learning English needs hours of free time which you just don't have. But here's the honest truth. If you can find 20 minutes to scroll through social media, watch videos, or check your phone, you can find 20 minutes for English. The problem is not really about time. It's about how you choose to spend the time you already have. It's about making your English practice part of your life, not an added task that feels like a burden. The secret is simple, but powerful. Link your English practice to something you already do every day. When you connect English learning with your existing habits, it becomes much easier to stick with it. It stops feeling like a chore and starts feeling like a natural part of your routine. For example, think about your morning coffee. For many people, drinking that first cup of coffee or tea is a comforting ritual, a moment of calm before the day begins. Why not use those 20 minutes to listen to an English podcast or watch a short English video? This way, you're enjoying your coffee while your brain absorbs new English words and ideas. You're not adding an extra task to your day. You're simply combining two activities you already do. Another great opportunity is during cooking or exercising. These activities often don't require your full mental attention, so you can listen to English materials while you move or prepare food. Imagine chopping vegetables while listening to a story in English, or jogging while following an English audiobook. You'll be surprised how much your listening skills improve just by adding English to moments that would otherwise be quiet or filled with background noise. In the evening, instead of automatically turning on the TV or scrolling through social media, try reading a short English article or watching a video that interests you. Even 10 minutes before bed can make a difference. This gentle exposure helps your brain continue learning even as you relax. Plus, ending your day with English practice can be a peaceful, rewarding habit. The key is to think creatively about your time. Look for small pockets throughout your day that can become English moments. Maybe it's a 10-minute break at work, a short wait for the bus, or a few minutes while your food is cooking. These moments add up quickly. 20 minutes may seem small, but when used consistently, it becomes a powerful daily habit. When English practice is linked to your daily life, it stops feeling like extra work. Instead, it feels like a part of who you are, a person who enjoys learning, growing, and connecting with the world. This shift in mindset makes a huge difference. You're no longer asking yourself, "Where can I find time?" Instead, you naturally include English in your day. It's also helpful to prepare in advance. Set reminders on your phone, place your English materials in visible spots, or create playlists of your favorite English podcasts or videos. These small preparations remove excuses and make it easier to start your practice. When it's easy to begin, you'll do it more often. Remember, being too busy is often a feeling, not a fact. We all have the same 24 hours. Successful English learners don't have more time. They simply make the most of the time they have. They understand that consistent, small actions are better than occasional long sessions. 20 minutes a day linked to your daily habits can lead to fluency. Finally, be kind to yourself. Some days will be harder than others. If you miss a day, don't give up. Just pick up where you left off. The most important thing is to keep going, even if it's just a little bit at a time. Over weeks and months, those small moments add up to big progress. So next time you feel too busy, remember this: you already have time. You just need to make English a part of your life, not a separate task. Find your moments, link your practice to your routine, and watch your English grow day by day. Chapter 8. The Long-Term Vision. When you begin your English learning journey, it's natural to want to see big changes quickly. After all, who doesn't want to speak fluently? Understand movies without subtitles, or write confidently in just a few days. But the truth is, real progress doesn't happen overnight. You might not notice big changes after a single week of practice. That's okay. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about building steady habits that grow stronger over time. If you stick with your daily 20 minutes of practice, something amazing happens after a month. Suddenly, you'll realize that you understand more words in conversations. You can follow simple stories with less effort. Your confidence will grow because you have built a foundation. Those small moments you spent practicing have added up without you even noticing. Then, after 3 months of consistent practice, the difference becomes clearer. You start to speak more smoothly, read faster, and feel more comfortable writing short messages or emails in English. You might surprise yourself by joining a conversation or watching a movie scene and understanding the main idea. This is the power of daily action, small, regular steps that create big changes. Imagine what will happen after a full year. 20 minutes a day equals more than 120 hours of English practice in 1 year. Think about that. 120 hours of focused learning. That's like taking an intensive English course, but without leaving your home or spending a lot of money. You have invested a little time every day, and over the months, those minutes have built a mountain of skill and confidence. One of the best parts of this approach is that you won't feel tired or burned out, because you never pushed yourself too hard at once. You didn't try to cram hours and hours in one day and then give up. Instead, you simply showed up every day and did a little. This steady, gentle pace is kinder to your mind and body. It keeps your motivation alive because you avoid the frustration of overload. The long-term vision also helps you keep going when progress feels slow. It's easy to get discouraged if you expect instant results and don't see them. But if you understand that real fluency takes time, you can be patient with yourself. You know that every minute you practice today is an investment in your future. The slow growth might feel invisible now, but it's building a strong foundation that will support you for years to come. This vision also changes how you see mistakes and challenges. When you think about the long term, mistakes become part of the process, not failures. Every error is a lesson, Every difficulty is a step forward. You learn to embrace challenges because you know they mean you are growing. This mindset makes your learning journey more enjoyable and less stressful. Another important part of the long-term vision is celebrating your progress. It's easy to focus only on what you haven't learned yet, but it's just as important to look back and see how far you've come. Maybe you can remember when you couldn't understand a simple conversation, but now you can follow along easily. Maybe you once struggled to say a sentence, but now you speak with confidence. These moments of reflection give you strength to continue. Setting long-term goals can also guide your practice. Think about where you want to be in 6 months, a year, or even 5 years. Maybe you want to travel, get a better job, or make new friends who speak English. Keeping these goals in mind gives your daily practice purpose. It reminds you why you started and what you are working toward. Finally, the long-term vision helps you build a lifelong relationship with English. When you learn in small, consistent steps, English becomes a natural part of your life. It's not something you stop after a course or a test. It's a skill that grows with you and opens new doors at every stage of your life. You become someone who can communicate, explore new ideas, and connect with people from around the world. So, keep your eyes on the long-term vision. Trust the process. Show up every day, even when it feels hard or slow. Remember that every 20-minute session is a step closer to your goal. One day, you will look back and be amazed at how far you've come. And that journey will be one of your greatest achievements. Conclusion: your 20-minute promise. Fluency in English is not a magic trick or a secret gift. It is the result of small, consistent actions taken day after day. It's about showing up, even when it feels difficult, or when progress seems slow. The good news is that you don't need to spend hours studying to see real improvement. Just 20 minutes of focused practice each day can transform your English skills and your confidence. Today, I invite you to make a promise to yourself. For the next 30 days, dedicate 20 minutes every day to your English learning. Whether it's listening, speaking, reading, or writing, these minutes will add up into powerful progress. You might be a beginner just starting out, or someone who wants to improve faster. This habit will take you further than you ever imagined. Here on English Achieve, we believe in simple steps that lead to big results. This channel is here to support you, inspire you, and guide you through your journey. Remember, it's not about the size of the time you spend, but the size of your commitment. Your dedication to consistent practice is what makes the difference. So start today. Set aside your 20 minutes, choose a skill to focus on, and enjoy the process. Don't worry about perfection or rushing ahead. Just commit to showing up every day. Your future self will thank you for the effort you make now. The journey to English fluency begins with a single step, and that step is your 20-minute promise.